All right.
That's good.
Next up, we're just rocking and rolling here. We have our friend Galit Ventura-Rozen, broker, owner at Commercial Professionals. How are you, Galit?
I'm doing good today, guys. How are you?
Hey,
Amazing. We just got back to back
Good.
unbelievable people coming on, and congratulations on your first book, The Successful Woman's Mindset, released a
Thank
couple
you.
years ago, uh, 3 years ago. But what I really am interested in is, you wrote this book before it was chic and in style to talk about mindset for any person, let alone for successful women. So you, in my opinion, were ahead of your time with the topic that you're speaking about. For you, how long was it that you were wanting to write this book? And did you feel as if we had a huge surge of momentum coming towards not just mindset, but the mindset of successful women?
To be honest with you, David, I never thought I would write a book. It was so interesting. It wasn't really about ever thinking about work. It was more about sharing my experience of being an entrepreneur from such a young 21 years old, straight out of college, when all my friends were looking for jobs and all I could think of was the worst thing I could ever do is go work for somebody and have somebody tell me what I can and cannot. So it was almost a product of 25 years, hit, miss, failures, successes, and the way that the book came. Actually, the National Association of Women Business Owners asked me to speak at their event, and I came up with the topic, the successful woman's mindset. And after I had women for months and months that I ran into in the community share with me how much it impacted them. And then I felt called to write the book. I mean, that's really the truth. I do, because with 25 years of pretty much having to be your self-motivator, your own cheerleader, and your own coach, because being in a field which is largely male dominated, I had to kind of figure it out on my own.
that's amazing. I love how you say you turn fear into determination. For people listening, I always say turn fear into your friend, because the energy of fear, you don't let it go into fight, flight, freeze. You turn that into motivation and say, okay, let me step into that. So talk about that for a second. Fear into determination. I love that.
Absolutely. That's one of my favorite chapters in the book, because I am a touchy-feely person. I feel things. So feel fear, we feel this little thing in the pit of our stomach. Well, you know what? When I read about it, when I'm determined, I kind of feel something very similar. So what I found is we don't allow this word, this four-letter word, to make all the choices for our life, which it does. It makes so many choices for so many people. And we realize drive that pushes us, that determination can come from, because I always say change only happens in the uncomfortable, right? And when you have you're uncomfortable. So get used to being uncomfortable every day and make that you. And that really is how you turn it into determination.
And determination is genetic, energetic, and learned. And you, at a young age, lost your voice for almost a decade. And you really learned to speak with other capabilities than your voice. And did that have any impact on your perception of mindset, or the value of mindset, or how to be successful throughout that period of pain, setbacks, mistakes, or voids that you felt you may have been punished with?
I would absolutely say yes. I think that the things that happen to us at young, some of us use them to push us and to make us more determined. Others go to other things that are not the most healthiest. So I think what happened, first of all, the voice I have today is not the voice I was born with. I actually have a nodule on one of my, so I just got used to speaking, and through speech therapy and stuff, I like, this is the voice we found, or the voice that chose me. So kids can be mean. You've heard it all day long. You're different. You sound different. I spoke, so I could still speak, but nothing would come out. And so basically, I learned at a very young age that the typical things that most people take it of such as your voice, is something that I didn't have an advantage of having. Ways throughout my career, throughout my life, to find solutions that might not have been right there. And to recognize that challenges and obstacles were just part of the way to success for me, and not to allow it to stop me. Instead, okay, this didn't work. Let's try to find some other way.
Do you think, like, every successful entrepreneur I've met, or any person that I've met that's really crushed it, it's never been a straight path. It's always, you've got to go through some kind of pain and suffering. Like, I don't regret my past. I've gone through hell. But do you think without that experience and getting through it, you'd be where you are today?
I think I don't know how to answer that, because I don't know another path. And I think that the things that I've experienced in my life, for example, when I was 15, my best friend committed suicide. Okay. I was the last person she spoke to. And the last thing I said to her was, "You're not going to go do something stupid, are you?" Well, I was 15. I didn't know anything. I could have chosen from that experience to blame myself for the rest of my life, or I could have understood that there was no way that I could have stopped her from doing what she did. So that's a perfect example as well, Mike. But I do believe every experience that we go through, traumatic or not, molds us to recognize. So yeah, experiencing death at a young age, experiencing the loss of my voice, I'm going to say for sure they made me appreciate the small things. They made me recognize that some of these challenges you can overcome, and maybe not to take everything so seriously and so dramatically. So absolutely, I am who I am today because of those experiences. And if I had to imagine who I would be without them, I think probably somebody different.
And another extraordinary mindset that you have that may not be talked about a lot is that you have built your business, Commercial Professionals, to over $1 billion in commercial real estate. And you're on a mission to help empower other women to reach 7-figure incomes through sales and success and maximizing their profits. Being someone who has been blessed twice in their life to make extraordinary amount of money, I'm always fighting my own limiting beliefs, partly attributed to some childhood trauma that I had, and some stories that have been told to me genetically, energetically as an inheritance, and some that I continue to tell myself today. And I'm always trying to pursue the infinity plus one philosophy of, oh yeah, infinity. Oh yeah, infinity plus one. Just when I'm thinking big, I tell myself, okay, how can you think bigger? What is your philosophy of being so abundant with your beliefs that you don't seem, with all the limitations that other people may have feared, you don't seem to limit yourself at all? Not only limit yourself, but you don't limit other people as well. You bring the most out of them.
I definitely have to say that one of my favorite words in the world, like somebody says, well, what's your word, Galit? My word is limitless. My word is limitless. I don't have a lot of fear. I think also from the way that I was brought up and the things that I went through, having parents that moved to America before I was born, right before I was born, my mom was pregnant with me, watching my dad work 7 days a week, 16 hours a day to build the American dream and not let anything stop him. So I had good role models as well. But I think for me, the one thing that doesn't stop me, in all honesty, David, is I look at the day, I look in my future when I'm 80 or 90 years old, and I don't want to look back and regret anything I didn't try. I don't have a fear of failure. And a lot of people that I work with, that I talk to, I also have a master's in therapy. So I really understand behavioral models and changing behaviors is based on something that isn't real, a limited belief, a behavior, something genetic, something you saw when you were growing up. It's not a real factual thing. So for me, I think I know the difference. And when something doesn't feel good or something I'm failing at, I definitely believe the more you fail, the quicker you get up. So I think I'm at a point now where I've had failed businesses too. We don't always talk about those, right? And I think maybe what's happened to me is I recognize I don't want to be that person that looks back and regrets all the things I didn't do.
It's amazing. So when you're working with someone that's stuck in that, what's the first thing you do with them? because so many people get stuck in the regret and say, "Oh my God, I'm a failure." No, you're not. It's feedback. What's the first thing you do with them to get them out of that situation?
The first thing that I do is I work with them on believing in themselves. We are, as a human society, we are always open to telling everyone we love and all the people around us how awesome they are and how they can be and do whatever they want. But we suck at doing it for ourselves. So the first thing we work on, it's true, right?
Yeah, you're right.
The first thing I have to work on is if you don't believe you can, you're right. So I can teach you all day long how to be successful. I have this beautiful gift to teach people in any kind of business that they're in how to be successful. But if you don't believe you can, you're right. Don't waste your money. Don't work with me. Don't hire me. I'm not going to take your money. And I've done that before. I'm like, before you work with me, go do this, this, and this. Then let's talk. Now, yes, I can work them through that if they're coachable and if they're open to it. But not all people are. They blame everything around themselves and they don't take responsibility for their own thoughts. They don't take responsibility for the actions they are not taking. So it's really big to start there.
Amazing.
Yeah, the difference between accountability and liability. Liability being blame, shame, and justification. Accountability, the ability to ask yourself, what did I do? How did I participate and collaborate with the lessons I need to learn? Your book is a genius, The Successful Women's Mindset. This is a person who has built a company, a commercial real estate company of over $1 billion, inspired so many other women to reach 7 figures in this business. You have to reach out. If you feel as if you're limitlessness, but just need somebody to motivate and inspire you and give you directions to get where she is, Galit is the person to reach out. Galit Ventura-Rozen.com. We got that down. Ventura-Rozen.com. We might as well say the name correctly. Thank you so much for inspiring us. What an incredible set and conversation about how we can all pursue our potential regardless of what challenges, setbacks, or fears we may have. You're incredible. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
You got it. We'll talk to you soon, Galit. Join us again.